The year was 2015. We took over this entire building. This room, that room, that room. I forget what we were doing up there. We had a dinner, a silent auction over there, dinner and live auction in here, and 20 years of memories in here. We had an actual bagpiper, Fraser Mahar, a town crier, played by Daniel Harris, a photo booth, a keynote speaker, Al Convolucci from Pittsburgh. If it all sounds like too much, it definitely was. Since then, we have enjoyed another 10 years of Make a Buzz, including jam-packed online extravaganzas during the pandemic. We turn the proceedings into the book that you see on your tables. Let's hear it for Make a Buzz. LiveWorkPlay is probably best known to the general public for our work in employment, but within the developmental services community, our Just Enough support model has garnered attention across the country and across the world. I don't have time to explain it all tonight, but it's not meant to be too difficult to understand, so here is a short video to explain it in part, starring several people in the room here tonight.
Everyone's looking to connect, and so it's just finding those commonalities and helping everyone be a part of the same welcoming community.
Really, a welcoming community is exactly what it sounds like. It's one where everyone is welcome, everyone's made to feel a part of the community, and not in an exception sort of way, but really just as part of the community in an equal sort of way. We don't practice tolerance, we practice inclusion.
Technology is often overlooked, so it's a fabulous way of solving problems and reducing barriers. And we used to often solve these problems with staff, or even an entire housing arrangement that's built around the fact that maybe the person has trouble keeping track of keys, or maybe, shutting off the stove is something people will be concerned about. In 2018, there are coded locks, there's fingerprint locks, there's automatic shut-off valves for stoves, there's electricity that can be shut off remotely.
And it's amazing, who would have ever thought that Phil would be using social media, using a computer, using a telephone. His workers and his support system has been able to educate him in these regards, and again, adding to his life and the success of his well-being.
When we go grocery shopping, we'll usually go to the same cashier, and they get to know Tim by name. Adds that extra person that kind of in the community can see him and knows who he is.
Yeah, because the person who did it when I was giving my milk, she knew my name. She said, "Hi, Tim."
This is all about not turning a person's life into a bureaucracy. That helps nobody. This is a human being, and the real measurement is, are they enjoying life to the greatest extent possible?
I love it about actually. It's so much fun. Because after I've spent a day at work around people, and then I just want to come home.
I think the life that Heather has built for herself here is something that's sustainable. Knowing that if something were to happen to me, that Heather is still on the right course. She still has the support. She is fairly confident that she can continue living the way she is. So that's a big step to be able to have that peace going forward.
I mean, I just see this as a life-changing opportunity for people. So to see the light in those people's eyes, and then to see how their family feels when they see that person having the success and reflecting that back, it just changes people, it changes families, it changes communities when excluded people become included contributors.
Thanks so much to everybody that participated in all the modules. I told you a while back how we did spend a few years as landlords and realized it wasn't for us. And why that's really true. There are others out there who do an amazing job, so why not partner with them instead? Family Matters Co-op is not a housing provider, but they hired us to work with a group of people many of whom we eventually supported to be some of the first tenants at the Beaver Barracks project of Centertown citizens. Who lives at Beaver Barracks? Let's go. There's a couple, yeah, you can make noise. We gave awards last month to TCE and Options Housing. You heard from Multi-Faith Housing in the video. Now the Ethiopian Housing on our list in need of a well-deserved mention. And of course, many other landlords, large and small, who have been willing to work with us for inclusive housing. Thank you all. We had some amazing creative fundraising moments, of which the Algonquin College Public Relations class of 2016 just kicked ass. First, they had to go through 2 rounds of pitching and voting to win the competition to make LiveWorkPlay the cause for the year. Then the entire class unleashed their fundraising beast with a huge series of small fundraisers that totaled all the way up to $29,000. Our own families and members have contributed their own creative ideas. Police launched their comedy career for a cause. We've had many birthday fundraisers on Facebook, like Tim and Jordan. We participated in the Time Waiter auction, and Francis and Martin decided, let's have a party to celebrate ourselves. And they racked up a cool $22,000 for LiveWorkPlay. And so many of you here just quietly pile on your monthly and annual donations year after year. Thank you for your support. Well, it took a lot more than 30 minutes of work, but it's still fun to say this is the most money we ever made in half an hour. I'm going to show you a brief video clip from this presentation. It was a Dragon's Den style pitch to a whole panel of judges. We asked members and families, can you come out and support us because it's a public event? We got more than we bargained for. Hopefully we did have the best pitch, but if you watch the video, you'll hear why we were worried. Maybe the judges were afraid to give the money to somebody else. I couldn't find the whole group photo, so at the end there's just one staff photo. But I can tell you, I never felt so supported in anything in my entire life.
So show of hands, how many for option A? Looking at the one hands. No hands, okay. So I'm assuming, how many for option B, reaching out to your networks? Well, the people in this room and the research agree that networking is by far the most effective approach. But of course, it doesn't work unless you have a network.
You'll see that change everywhere you go. You will have helped create the conditions where everyone can have a piece of the pie. Thank you.
So, the winner of this year's New Leaf Community Challenge, and I'm going to ask the presenters to come up, and then my team's going to give me a check, is LiveWork. Present a check to these wonderful people, and again, congratulations to all the finalists for $125,000.
I want to apologize to all the other teams after. You were really good. I talked about our commitment to developing a strong volunteer team that started some 15 years ago. So I won't spend too much time on this, but in the modern era, under the leadership of Alex Darling, and with support from Rebecca Coxon, Matolo, and others who have filled in during maternity leaves, consider this. There's over 300 registered charities who are members of Volunteer Ottawa who have officially registered volunteer programs. Not to mention hundreds more nonprofits in sports, recreation, arts, the environment. We had our volunteer practices reviewed by external evaluators, and they ranked us number 6 in Ottawa. If you are up in arms that they gave the top spot to other people, we appreciate your loyalty, but bear in mind we're talking about Places like Ottawa Humane Society, Ottawa Food Bank. It's frankly astounding to be in company like that. We'll be celebrating volunteers later, but for now, a round of applause for everyone who's made this one of the best volunteer operations in the city. Over the most recent decade, we've been blessed with some really meaningful awards, including national and provincial recognition from the Canadian Association for Supported Employment, the Ontario Disability Employment Network. A number of our volunteers, members, and family members have received individual awards, and if not the biggest, certainly the wildest was being named the Ottawa Board of Trade and Ottawa Business Journal Best Nonprofit 2019. Reminiscent of the scene at the New Leaf Community Challenge, the somewhat sedate Ottawa crowd of 1,000 people at the Best Ottawa Business Awards was shaken out of their seats by just 20 LiveWorkPlay supporters who celebrated like they had won the Stanley Cup. It was all a bit surreal, even a bit shocking, but as always, the best part of these awards is the celebration of building something together. I know a lot of us, we don't want to talk about the pandemic for a lot of different reasons, but the way we all rallied around each other was a real testimony to the triumph of the human spirit. This was demonstrated in a very public way by our pivot to an online 25th anniversary party. Months of planning suddenly meant nothing, but together we built an unforgettable 2.5-hour gathering with amazing interviews, live music, and camaraderie, which we were all needed because we were trying to come to terms with isolation in a scary time. So thanks to everyone who turned out for that very special day. We celebrate together as best we could. I probably fell short of my goal. I wanted to find a photo of every board member, auditor, and governance advisor who ever served LiveWorkPlay. I did my best. I just wanted to quickly explain how vital they are and how much they've influenced the growth of this organization, and how there's so much more work to be done as a board member than attending meetings. We are talking about big decisions here, like a strategic plan to close our group programs within 2 years, to pursue the creation of affordable housing, to pursue no longer owning any housing, to restructure staff compensation and establish our first benefit and pension plans, remembering that these are all examples of intense work being done by volunteers who have their own families, jobs, and personal and professional priorities, knowing that being a LiveWorkPlay board member will give you neither fortune nor fame, just the possibility of helping change lives and our community for the better. Thank you, all of you. I talked earlier about the social enterprise era from the early years, where we weren't sure employers would be willing to work with us and hire the people we support for real work and real pay. Being wrong can be really awesome. A big shout out to Jen Susi and the Employment Task Force. They got us rolling and establishing the right values and the right commitment to serving job seekers and employers for many years to come. Part 2, our work kept secret. We have a very successful partnership with the Federal Public Service. It is historic. It's one of the most effective such partnerships in the entire history of the country of Canada. The leadership of Anna Nelson, and the incredible work of the employment team has combined with the groundbreaking Federal Employment Strategy Group with volunteer chair Mary Vasilla. We've run out of superlatives, Mary. I'm not going to try. It's really great. She's not alone either. There's dozens of passionate members of the public service who take this on from the corner of their desk and make great things happen. I can safely say that all of us who have been involved with our federal employment initiative are very proud of the more than 45 permanent jobs and more than 200 hires in total But perhaps most of all, nobody asked us to do it. Nobody paid us to do it. It just needed doing, and we did it. And we aren't going to give up until this is just a part of what public sector hiring is all about. In my early years presentation, I talked about self-advocacy, meaning people we support learning about how to speak for themselves. Over the past decade, it's been more about advocacy. People with intellectual disabilities and autistic persons not only speaking for themselves, but championing perspectives and issues focused on social change and to the benefit of others, and often not directly connected to LiveWorkPlay, just connected to issues of inclusion. These are just examples. Emily Leonard, David Young, Annalisa Kiskis, Daniel Pinsonell, Graham Armstrong, Nadine Gowdy, Jennifer Harris, Philip Delaney, and Paul Knoll are just some of the leading advocates in our community. They've been extraordinary in communicating on issues of housing, employment, and inclusion. Way to go. Just a quick note here, because I have not mentioned very much so far. Attending formal gatherings of our various essential networks is really important, but it has become an affordability issue for a small organization like ours. We're doing our best to make smart choices for maximum impact. So here's to the conference organizers on our short list, which includes Ontario Disability Employment Network and Community Living Ontario, who are here with us tonight. Almost done, big finish. I talked a bit about pandemic silver linings earlier, but I'm personally very grateful that our pandemic online events launched the LiveWorkPlay News. Tonight has not been the usual countdown format, as I couldn't bring myself to try and rank the memories. So forgive me for the lack of drama, we didn't do the breaking news and the drum rolls, but I hope you enjoyed the quick trip down memory lane. There have now been 17 broadcasts of LiveWorkPlay News, 18 if we count this one. I'm so grateful to all my co-hosts, to all of the online and live audiences, and to all of you who encourage me to keep the news going when we return to the live events. Thank you very much.